ready to get started. Just a quick overview on last night. Really, it can only be summed up by unacceptable. We were not effective in doing our job, and that rests with me in terms of assessing everything and how we go about what we do. And then the thing that probably stands out that makes that ring so true is our guys played extremely hard for 4 quarters. I think that's evident in the fact that, you know, they fought all the way to the block field goal, and we had guys get injured and come back in, and just on the sideline that was, hey, I'm going back in. So you know, they had a passion, and they fought with a lot of effort. Now the thing that happened in the process is they basically changed some things around in terms of how they approached to get to their final formation before the ball was snapped, and we had a few misunderstandings. We're not bust. It wasn't like that. It was just in terms of gap fits, in terms of who's inside, who's outside, the width of it even sometimes, being too wide on something, being too tight on something. Just they allowed the reloading of that empty back into the backfield to not we didn't fit things very cleanly. And so, and then the missed tackles. The missed tackles were not good at all, uncharacteristic of us, something that we have not done, but we'll get it corrected. With that, I'll open up for questions.
How much of an effect on your defense was that of game time, almost 17 straight minutes when your guys are on the field from the second quarter through the third quarter?
Well, you know, I didn't know that. So, you know, obviously we're up there scrambling and looking down, so we just know when they tell us, hey, defense up. And that's really more the first responder mentality. We build the room. That has no effect on it. Number one is when we get called, we go play, we go stop them, we get off the field, and we've got something to do with that. There were spurts we were very effective on third down, but they were later in the second half. There was too many third and shorts, and we stopped some of those. But, you know, it's hard to do. We even stopped the fourth down. We didn't get them behind. Our first down defense probably had the most effect on the game, and so you can't allow yourself to give up. You know, die by 1,000 cuts. You just can't do it, and it all goes back to just doing your job, being in your gap, trust your teammate, you know, and trust the scheme, trust the teammate. You don't have to make plays that aren't yours to make. You know, you've got teammates to get that done. That's the biggest thing. You know, we talked a lot today about, which we've talked about before, is you've got to be accountable and responsible. You've got to be accountable for doing your job. You've got to be responsible to own it. And then with that, you've got to have an attitude of correction. And so with those 3 things, you know, that's been clearly communicated to them, and it was even more communicated to them today. The video evidence doesn't lie. When you're not in your gap, because you're trying to make a play, and now you got 2 outside rather than 1 inside, things aren't pretty, and that's really what happened, and that's on us as coaches to get that corrected.
Yeah, were they? I know they're hurt, disappointed, but just what were they like today?
Well, you know, again, we went back and reiterated what we're built on in that room, and when we're in meetings, is to always be accountable, own it. If you make a mistake, if I make one and it's on video, and I tell them, hey, that's on me, guys. So own your mistakes, be accountable, and then have an attitude of correction. you know, be a pro, you know, and so that was there today, very evident. They know. You know, if you rob a bank, it's on video, you're a bank robber.
There near the end of the first half, you guys stopped Fitzgerald, you know, 2-3 straight times in the 4th and 1 call and the review. What were you thinking in the booth? What did you think about that play?
Well, I thought, you know, we made a call that took a little bit of a chance in that you kind of left something open to do what we did, but we wanted no direct runs, so we shot the linebacker in the A gap and the nose in the other A gap. Both of them came clean. One of them kind of missed him, the other one kind of redirected him, and you know, he got back too close. You know, you don't let them get that close. Put it in the hands of officials, then that's on us. Don't put it in their hands. Make it in the backfield, then you don't have to review it.
Kevin, what does it say about Deshaun to just take it upon himself to come back in after what looked like a scary game there at first?
Well, he's a tough guy. He's a leader, and you know, it says a lot. It says a lot to his character, his work ethic, his toughness, his leadership. You know, it speaks all those things because obviously when you're injured like that, you know, they're not going to let him go back if the doctors don't clear him. But then it also becomes to I can or I can't, and he was pretty adamant that he could.
It looked like Jeremiah was around the ball a lot. Did he have a good game?
Well, I don't think any of us had a good game. I don't think you can, none of us, me included. But he was effective. You know, he did not have any gapped out mistakes. You know, he had the interception on the 2nd, 3rd down. And so, you know, he's a smart guy.
Kevin, you just thought you worked with Jeremy Pruitt, did you not?
I did.
Just talk about what he kind of brings from what you know of him.
Yeah, well, Jeremy's a very, very smart football coach. Very smart football coach. And, you know, he's a tough guy that is relentless.
You have been able to watch any of Tennessee
Yep.
yet?
Yeah,
What are your
very,
initial
very
thoughts?
little bit. You know, they're well coached. They're well coached. You know, obviously they're still in the process of putting their mark on the team, but they're well coached.
All right, very good.